The most painful moment for a deep thinker isn't sitting alone on a quiet night. It's sitting in a room full of people and realizing not a single one of them can reach you. You smile, you nod, you laugh at the right times, but inside, there's a silent scream nobody hears. A part of you that's been waiting your whole life to be seen, and slowly losing hope that it ever will be. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling more alone than before it started, tap that subscribe button and let me explain why your mind isn't the problem. The world just hasn't caught up to the way you see it yet. Let me start with a scene you'll recognize. You're at a gathering. Maybe a birthday. Maybe a work thing. Maybe just friends hanging out. Everyone is talking, drinks in hand, jokes flying around, and you're standing there, smiling. But something feels off. Your body is in the room, but your soul has already left. You're watching everyone like a movie you didn't sign up to watch, and you feel that old familiar ache. The ache of being there, but not belonging there. You try to join, you really do. You crack a joke, you ask a question, you bring up something that actually matters to you. And the response? The response is what kills you. A polite laugh, a blank stare, a subject change. And just like that, you shrink back into your shell. You tell yourself it's fine. You tell yourself you're just tired. But deep down, you know the truth. You don't fit. You've never fit. And you're tired of pretending you do. This is the secret pain of every deep thinker. You're not antisocial. You don't hate people. You actually love people. Maybe too much. You see them too clearly. You feel them too deeply. You understand them in ways they don't even understand themselves. And that gift, that beautiful, terrifying gift, is also the very thing that makes you feel so alone. Carl Jung once said the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Because the moment you accept yourself, you have to stop pretending. And when you stop pretending, you start to see who actually belongs in your life and who doesn't. And that's when the real loneliness begins. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of seeing the truth. Did that hit home for you? Let me know in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of this conversation. Because what I'm about to tell you next is the thing nobody had the courage to tell me when I needed to hear it most. Here's what's actually happening inside you. Your brain doesn't process the world the way most people do. You don't just hear words. You hear tone. You hear silence. You hear what people aren't saying. You don't just see faces. You see micro expressions. You see the eye that looked away too fast. You see the smile that didn't reach the eyes. You see the truth behind the performance. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Most people live their whole lives on the surface of things. They scroll, they consume, they react. They don't pause. They don't question. They don't wonder why they feel empty after laughing all night. But you feel that emptiness like a punch to the chest. You sit with it. You study it. You try to name it. And while everyone else moves on, you're still in the kitchen at 2 a.m. asking yourself why human beings are so afraid of being real. Imagine living in a world where everyone is reading the headlines, and you're the only one reading the whole book. You see the plot twists they miss. You see the patterns they ignore. You see the ending nobody wants to talk about. That kind of awareness is heavy. It's a gift, yes, but gifts often feel like burdens before they feel like blessings. You start to question yourself. Am I too serious? Am I too sensitive? Am I too much? Why can't I just enjoy small talk like everyone else? Why does every casual conversation feel like a costume I'm forced to wear? Why do I leave parties feeling drained while everyone else leaves feeling alive? The answer is simple, even if it's painful. You're not built for shallow. You never were. And trying to live shallow when you were built for depth is like trying to breathe underwater. You can do it for a moment, but eventually, you'll suffocate. Think back to when you were a child. Were you the kid who asked questions adults didn't want to answer? The one who cried over things other kids found funny? The one who felt strange feelings you didn't have words for yet? The one who sat alone sometimes and felt more at home there than anywhere else? That was never weakness. That was the early shape of a mind too big for the rooms it was placed in. But the world has a way of punishing kids like that. Teachers told you to stop daydreaming. Friends called you weird. Family said you were too sensitive.
And so, little by little, you built a version of yourself that was easier to swallow. A polished, polite, palatable version. The kind that fits in. The kind that survives. But survival isn't the same as living. And that polished version of you has been quietly dying ever since. Are you tired of dimming your light just so other people don't have to squint? Subscribe and hit the bell if you want more truths like this, because we're about to go deeper, and I want you to walk away from this video with something nobody can ever take from you again. Let's talk about why this feels so personal. Because for deep thinkers, not fitting in isn't just an inconvenience. It's a wound. It's the feeling of being unseen by the people who were supposed to see you. It's growing up in a family where nobody asked the questions you needed asked. It's having friends who only know your jokes, not your fears. It's dating people who fall in love with your mask, then leave when they finally meet the real you. This is what I call the deep thinker's heartbreak. It's not one big betrayal, it's 1,000 small ones. The friend who never really listened, the parent who never really understood, the partner who said they loved you but couldn't handle your depth. Each one carved a quiet little message into you. The message that being yourself is dangerous. The message that depth is something to apologize for. The message that you have to choose between being loved and being real. So you started choosing. You started picking the mask over the mirror. You learned how to be likable. You learned how to be agreeable. You learned how to perform a version of yourself that didn't scare anyone away. And it worked. People liked you. They invited you. They smiled at you. But none of them knew you. And that's the loneliest kind of success. Being loved for someone you're not. Jung talked about something called the false self. The version of us we build to survive a world that didn't accept the real us. The false self is like a mask glued to your face. At first, it feels protective. Then it feels comfortable. Then one day, you try to take it off and realize you've forgotten what's underneath. That's the moment of crisis. That's the moment every deep thinker reaches sooner or later. The moment you look in the mirror and ask, who am I really when nobody is watching? Has this ever happened to you? Drop a yes in the comments and subscribe to join thousands of deep thinkers who are finally taking the mask off. Because the truth is, you were never meant to wear it forever. You were just trying to make it through. And now, it's time to make it home to yourself. Here's something that took me years to understand. The reason you feel like you don't fit in isn't because you're broken. It's because you've been trying to fit into spaces that were never built for you. It's like trying to wear shoes 3 sizes too small. You can force your foot in, you can walk a few steps, but every step hurts. And eventually, the pain becomes louder than the pretending. That pain is not your enemy. That pain is your compass. Pain points you toward truth. The pain of forced friendships, the pain of fake conversations, the pain of rooms that drain you, the pain of laughing at jokes that aren't funny, the pain of being everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Each pain is a signpost. Each pain is whispering, this isn't your place. Keep walking. The right place exists, but you'll never find it while you're busy clinging to the wrong ones. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. You will probably have to lose some people to find yourself. Not because they're bad people, but because they're not your people. Some friendships were never meant to last forever. They were meant to teach you something, hold you for a season, and then quietly fade. Trying to keep them alive past their expiration date is one of the slowest ways to lose yourself. Imagine carrying a backpack full of rocks up a mountain. Some of those rocks are people. Some are memories. Some are old versions of yourself. The higher you climb, the heavier the rocks feel. At some point, you have to put them down. Not because you don't love them,
but because you can't reach the top while carrying everything that weighed you down at the bottom. Letting go isn't betrayal, it's evolution. The world tells you to hold on, to fix every friendship, to save every relationship, to keep every promise even when the promise is killing you. But deep thinkers know better. Or at least, deep thinkers feel it before they know it. You feel the weight long before you have the words. You feel the wrongness in your gut, even when everything looks right on paper. Trust that feeling. That feeling is your soul speaking before your mind catches up. Do you recognize this pattern in your life? Subscribe now and tell me your story below. Tell me about the friendship you outgrew,
The room you finally walked out of. The version of yourself you finally buried. Because every time a deep thinker tells the truth out loud, another deep thinker somewhere finds the courage to do the same. Now let's get to the part that changes everything. The part where you stop being a victim of your own depth and start using it like the power it actually is. Because depth isn't a curse. It only feels like one when you don't know how to wield it. Once you understand what you actually have, the whole story changes. You stop apologizing. You start aligning. You stop shrinking. You start sovereign. Your depth is a tool, a blade, a lantern. Used wrong, it cuts you. Used right, it cuts through the noise of a confused world. You can see what others can't. You can feel what others numb. You can ask the questions that wake people up. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how needed that is? The world isn't suffering from too many deep thinkers. It's suffocating from too few. Every time you hide, the world loses a voice it desperately needs. Think about every person who ever changed the world. Writers, healers, artists, teachers, leaders, builders of new ideas. They were almost always the ones who didn't fit. The ones called too quiet, too weird, too intense, too sensitive. The ones who were misunderstood for years before they were finally celebrated. They didn't change the world despite being different. They changed it because they were. And you, my friend, are cut from the same cloth. So why are you still trying to be normal? Normal never built anything beautiful. Normal never wrote a song that made strangers cry. Normal never started a movement. Normal never healed a wound. Normal is just the average of fear. And you were not born to be the average of anything. You were born to be a specific, irreplaceable presence in a world that desperately needs presence over performance. Is this why you've been feeling exhausted lately? Subscribe and let me know in the comments. Because exhaustion isn't always about doing too much. Sometimes, exhaustion is about being too little for too long. Being a smaller version of yourself than your soul can sustain. Your tiredness might not be a sign that you need rest. It might be a sign that you need to come home to yourself. Let me say something you might need to hear. You don't owe the world a watered-down version of yourself. You don't owe anyone the simpler, easier, more digestible you. The version of you that takes up less space. The version of you that says less, feels less, dreams less. That version isn't humble, it's hiding. And hiding has a cost. Every day you hide, you pay a little of your own life as the price. Imagine going to a museum with a priceless painting in your bag and never showing it to anyone. That's what hiding your depth is like. You're carrying around something rare and beautiful, but you keep it covered because you're scared people won't like it. But here's the truth. The right people don't just like rare things. They worship them. They build their lives around them. They protect them. The right people will never make you choose between being loved and being real. They will love you exactly because you are real. The hard part is finding them. And honestly, you won't find them while you're still hiding. They're looking for you. They're looking for the real you. They scan rooms for the eyes that see too much. They listen for the voices that say what no one else dares to say. They're searching for you. But they can only find you if you stop dressing up as everyone else. Have you been pretending everything is fine when it's really not?
Subscribe and drop your experience below. I want to know the masks you're tired of wearing, the conversations you're tired of having, the rooms you're ready to walk out of. Because naming it is the first step to leaving it.
And leaving it is the first step to finally arriving where you were always meant to be. Now let me give you something practical. 3 quiet shifts that will change everything for a deep thinker. Not advice from a book, not motivational fluff. Real, raw shifts that I've seen change lives, including mine. So listen close, because this is the part you'll come back to when the loneliness creeps in again. The first shift is this. Stop trying to be understood by everyone. Start being understood by yourself. Most of your suffering doesn't come from people not getting you. It comes from you not getting you, from you being a stranger to your own mind. Sit with yourself. Write things down. Ask yourself the questions nobody else thought to ask. Be your own first friend. Because when you understand yourself, other people's misunderstandings stop having so much power over you. Their confusion becomes background noise instead of a storm. The second shift. Curate your circle like your life depends on it. Because it does. You are not obligated to keep every friendship that's still breathing. You are not obligated to attend every event that drains you. You are not obligated to explain yourself to people who never tried to understand you in the first place. Build a small, sacred circle, even if it's 3 people, even if it's 1, even if for a while it's just you. A small, real circle is infinitely better than a big, fake one. The third shift, and this one is the most important. Make solitude your sanctuary, not your prison. The world taught you that being alone is bad, that you should always be busy, always be connected, always be surrounded. But deep thinkers heal in silence. We grow in stillness. We come alive when the noise finally stops. Stop running from your own company. Sit with yourself like you'd sit with a friend. Listen, breathe, notice. Your loneliness, once embraced, transforms into the most powerful kind of strength there is. The strength of someone who doesn't need a crowd to feel whole. Does this sound like someone you know? Share this video with them and subscribe for more. Because some words aren't meant to stay with one person. Some words are meant to travel, to pass from one tired soul to another like a small, glowing lifeline. If this video reaches even one more deep thinker tonight, you might be the reason they finally stop pretending. I want you to picture something with me. Picture the version of you that stopped hiding, the version that stopped explaining, the version that walks into rooms knowing exactly who they are. They don't beg for attention, they don't perform, they don't shrink. They sit quietly, fully themselves, and let the right people come to them. And the wrong people. The wrong people simply walk by because they're not looking for what this version of you offers. And that's perfect. That version of you sleeps better. That version of you laughs more, but only at real things. That version of you cries when crying is needed and feels no shame about it. That version of you speaks slowly because their words actually mean something. That version of you has fewer friends, but each friendship is sacred. That version of you has more time, more peace, more energy, more truth. That version of you is not a fantasy. That version of you is who you actually were before the world told you to be smaller. They've been waiting underneath the mask the whole time. The journey to that version isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens in tiny, quiet choices. Saying no to one event. Saying yes to one walk alone. Closing one app. Opening one journal. Leaving one conversation that drained you. Entering one silence that fed you. These choices look small from the outside, but on the inside, they are revolutions. Each one a small rebellion against the version of you that was built to fit in. You will lose people on this journey. Some will leave loud, with arguments and goodbyes. Most will leave quiet, with slow fading texts and shorter answers. Let them. Don't chase, don't beg, don't explain. Their leaving is making space for the right ones to arrive. Trust the math of your life. Subtraction always comes before addition. Empty rooms always come before the right guests walk in. Do you recognize the deep thinker in yourself finally waking up? Subscribe now and tell me one thing you're going to stop apologizing for. One thing you're done shrinking around. Because the moment you name it out loud is the moment it starts losing its grip on you. And I want to witness your moment. I want to be there for it. Here's what I really want you to understand. Not fitting in is not a flaw. It's a feature. It's a sign you were built for a different kind of life. A life with more meaning, more depth, more truth, more art, more questions, more wandering, more wondering. The square peg doesn't have to become round. The square peg has to find a square hole. And those holes exist. They're just rarer. They're worth waiting for. They're worth walking toward. Stop punishing yourself for being unusual. Unusual is the price of being unforgettable. Stop apologizing for being intense. Intensity is the engine of every great thing ever created. Stop hiding your strange ideas. Your strange ideas are the very things that could one day save another deep thinker from drowning. Your weirdness is not a problem to fix. It's a gift to deliver. The world is waiting for the gift, even if it doesn't know it yet. There's something dangerous about a deep thinker who stops apologizing. People can sense it. They sit straighter when you walk in. They listen harder when you speak. They stop interrupting you. Not because you got louder, but because you got truer. Truth has a frequency. People feel it before they understand it. And once you start vibrating at that frequency, your whole life starts to rearrange around you. That's when you become untouchable. Not in a cold way, in a free way. You stop being so easy to manipulate. You stop being so quick to abandon yourself. You stop bending out of shape just to make others comfortable. You sit in your own skin like it's a throne. And from that throne, you finally see the truth. You were never the one who didn't fit. The rooms were just too small. And now you've outgrown them. Permanently. Is this the moment you finally choose yourself over the crowd? Subscribe and let me know below. Tell me what you're walking away from. Tell me what you're walking toward. Because every word you write is a vow, and the universe listens when deep thinkers finally make vows to themselves. Let me close with something sacred. Something I want you to carry with you long after this video ends. If you spent your whole life feeling like an outsider, here's the secret nobody told you. You were never an outsider. You were a scout. A scout sent ahead to see what others couldn't see, to feel what others wouldn't feel, to ask what others were too afraid to ask. Your job was never to fit in. Your job was to bring back something the rest of them needed. Maybe what you bring back is a truth, maybe a piece of art, maybe a question that changes how someone lives their life, maybe just a quiet presence that lets another deep thinker know they're not alone. Whatever it is, the world needs it. The world needs you. Not the small you, not the polite you, not the agreeable you, the whole you. The strange, intense, thoughtful, soft, sharp, wild, gentle, sovereign you. That's the one we've been waiting for. The next time you walk into a room and feel like a stranger, I want you to whisper this to yourself. I'm not lost. I'm just early. I'm not broken. I'm just deep. I'm not alone. I'm just ahead. And every step I take in my own direction is a step toward the people who were always meant to find me. They are coming. They have always been coming. But first, I have to stop hiding so they can see me. Your loneliness was never a punishment. It was a preparation. It was teaching you to stand on your own 2 feet so you wouldn't crumble when real love finally arrived. It was teaching you to value your own mind so you wouldn't sell it cheap.
It was teaching you to listen to silence so you'd recognize the difference between noise and signal. Every lonely night was a lesson. Every awkward party was a lesson. Every fading friendship was a lesson. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. So stand up tonight, wherever you are. Take a deep breath. Look at yourself in the mirror, even just for a second, and see the truth. You are not too much. You are not too quiet. You are not too sensitive. You are not too strange. You are a deep thinker. You are rare.
You are needed. You are exactly what this loud, distracted, surface-level world has been quietly starving for. And the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant for is the version of you that's still trying to fit in. Stop trying. Start being. The right rooms will recognize you. The right people will find you. The right life will open like a door that was always there, just waiting for you to stop knocking on the wrong ones. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't need to perform anymore. You don't need to translate your soul into smaller words just so the wrong people can understand. Speak in your real language. The right ones will hear you. If this video made you feel something, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more videos that actually understand you, because you don't need more noise in your life. You need a voice that finally gets it. And as long as I have words, I'll keep showing up here every week, reminding you that your depth was never the problem. It was always the gift. And the world is finally, slowly, beautifully ready to receive it.